How did you build your reputation? Was it easy to attract the audience? In 3 different places, I mean, so you started 3 times from
Sure.
the beginning.
Yeah. It's been a little bit easier for Newcastle as opposed to Glasgow and Edinburgh. There are other comedy clubs on the circuit, but I think where the Stand differentiate themselves is that they are purely dedicated to the show. They take it very seriously. It is a performance space, and as such, we don't allow heckling. We don't do stag or hen do's. It's a more cerebral type of comedy that we offer, and that is reciprocated by the audiences that we get. They are looking for not lowest common denominator humour. They're looking for something that is going to make them think. It's comedy that makes you think, and that's where we pitch ourselves. So there are certain comedians that we maybe wouldn't fit with ourselves, but we've built such a reputation on the circuit that most comedians want to play the Stand. It's got a very good reputation within the industry.
Well, why did you decide to have this Wednesday nights when your stage is open for the beginners?
We chose a Wednesday. Well, there are 2 things. One's a commercial desire, and the other one is an artistic desire. The commercial desire is that it is early to midweek is traditionally a quiet part of the week for anything in the licensed or the leisure industry. So it's a good night for us to try something like this out. It's quite a quirky night. It's really well supported, and if the product's good, then people will come whatever night it is. The other concern, or the other point, is that the Red Raw nights in Edinburgh and Glasgow are, well, Edinburgh is on a Monday night for Red Raw and Glasgow is a Tuesday night, so it seemed a natural fit that for Newcastle it would be a Wednesday night. So if people were going to go on a mini tour, we can get them on a Monday in Edinburgh, they can go over to Glasgow and then they can play Newcastle and do a mini tour and get a real feel. So there were two reasons why we chose a Wednesday for Newcastle with the Red Raw.
Do you familiarize yourself with the scripts beforehand, especially for Wednesday nights, because the stage is open for new comedians?
We do. I suppose there's 2 ways of looking at it. It's the stage is also a forum, and it's free speech up to a point. There are certain things that we wouldn't encourage, and what we do is we do essentially a vetting process before people do go on stage, and this is at the booking stage. So it'll be a couple of weeks before, and Eva Mackay, who basically books all of the acts, she will vet, and very, very good at it. She will vet new acts that are coming up and just feel out what kind of material that it is that they do. But once that person gets on stage, that is their 5 minutes. As one of the things that we do absolutely commit to is that it's not a sort of gong show type of show where the audience gets to choose if they like them or not. What we do is, after they've been on stage, is that we will feed back to the head office, and we'll feed back also to the artists, and just let them know that and how the gig's gone. If some work might need to be done, or if it was a fantastic gig and they've walked off stage 10 feet tall and they've got a new career, basically.
Was there a situation when it was forbidden for one of the artists to come back to Stand?
No, we'd never say don't come back. What we would do, if somebody's had a particularly bad night, they might have just had a bad night and they might need to have another go, or they might need to edit a little bit of their material and maybe come back and work on a little bit of material. But we would encourage people to come back again and again, and if they have a real passion and a need and a desire to do it, then we would certainly try and support them. One of the other good things that we can do, because we have 3 comedy clubs now that sort of triangulate between Newcastle, Edinburgh and Glasgow, is that if somebody goes down particularly well here, we try and get them to do like a mini tour effectively, and they'll be able to go up and play to an Edinburgh audience and also to a Glasgow audience, which are slightly different, and they'll get to feel what different audiences are like, because what goes down well in Newcastle might not necessarily go down quite as well in another town or another city.
Are there any artists who became popular just thanks to the stand comedy.
Yeah, for sure. As I mentioned before, Frankie Boyle is probably a good example to use, because he got up and did 5-10 minute spot and then carried on and became more and more established on the circuit, and is now able to fill arena style venues easily, and that's part and parcel. He's now involved with the company as well, so it's a thing that's come full circle, basically.
What are the most popular topics among the comedians?
Well, as I say, we do sort of promote more cerebral comedy, but there are certain themes that are common throughout comedy, and certainly stand-up: sex, relationships, jobs. They're standard things. They're the things that you and I and everyone day-to-day concerns, and they find the humour and the beauty and the stupidity in all of those subjects and exploit them, and that's what's the joy about it.
So it's their everyday life and everyday concerns and everyday problems, right?
Yeah, that's a very common theme in stand-up, because it enables a sense of immediacy and parity with the audience and the comedian. That's certainly true. And then if sometimes you find that the comedian can expose real life affirming issues or the iniquities of life, and also get some very powerful points in as well, and that's the joy of watching it sometimes, where there's a powerful punch behind what is effectively a good night out and a laugh.